Living every day like your last is gonna build a blank future. We were told all these things like tomorrow isn't guaranteed, and then started living like today is all that matters. And that sounds deep, but I think it's a load of horse shit. Because in practice, this actually translates to impulsive spending, overconsumption, addiction, fear of missing out, chasing dopamine, all under the disguise of living in the moment. We all know and love Ferris Bueller, but he was in high school. Apparently everyone in high school needs that message, but they never showed us what he would become in his 20s, 30s, and 40s. And it's a movie. This is real life. So much fun. Now, this doesn't mean you have to choose one or the other. You know, as humans, we love to think in extremes. Either live today like it's your last or be miserable for the rest of your life. But living intentionally does not mean sabotaging your future self. You can enjoy today and protect tomorrow. It's a balance, but that requires something that most of us were never taught: delayed gratification. Your brain is wired for instant reward. Every scroll, every impulse buy, every notification, that's dopamine, the anticipation chemical. And the more often you spike it instantly, the harder it becomes to wait for anything meaningful. That's not a personality flaw. That's just conditioning, societal conditioning. I remember this one Christmas, my cousin and I, we really wanted Apple Watches, but we didn't have the money to buy brand new Apple Watches. So we were like on Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp. We found these watches for about $100 each or something, maybe under 100. Obviously it was a scam, but at the time I was so enthralled with the dopamine hit that I didn't even, I had no self-control, no logic to make a smart decision and not buy it. I tried to dispute the charges, all this shit. It was stupid. Psychology 101, classical conditioning. Pavlov's dog. He rings the bell, the dog gets the reward or the treat over and over. Now imagine you are the dog and your phone, your cart, your cravings are the bell. No pause, no space, just react. But it's so contradictory because we think sacrificing the impulsive Ferris Bueller day off for a better future means that we're throwing away our freedom today. But we are literally living like conditioned dogs. We are slaves to the reward. Tori the therapist made a great video about how when we were kids we used to complain, I can't wait till I'm an adult so I can do whatever I want. I just spilled my tea all over my pants. But now we're adults and we're just scrolling on our phones, doing absolutely fuck all. We don't have any freedom anyway. We're slaves to this thing. Think about it like this. Life is like a casino. Every instant reward costs you chips. And you don't want to wake up tomorrow and walk into the casino of life with no chips because you blew them all the day before. Gambling addicts have no self-control, and self-control has everything to do with instant gratification. And what's worse is they don't even have an excuse or an external factor to blame for their lack of self-control. They can't even say, it was the alcohol, or I tripped and accidentally fell into another woman's vagina. They're just gambling. There's just literally no self-control. If you're under 25, your frontal lobe isn't developed yet, but it's no excuse to act like the dog who hears the bell. If anything, your early 20s is the perfect time to get your shit together. You are at peak cognitive function. More specifically, your prefrontal cortex is the impulse machine, the lever puller. It's responsible for decision-making, planning, and regulating your behavior. It helps you weigh out the consequence of your actions and determine your long-term goals. But when you give in to instant gratification and you never sit in the discomfort of whether or not you should make an impulsive decision, your prefrontal cortex will lose its ability to override distractions, cravings, and temptations, and you will be unable to exhibit goal-directed behavior. You will be sitting at that slot machine, never leaving, never getting up to use the bathroom, never blinking, never living your life. You'll be sitting with the phone in front of your face, watching all the pretty colors, listening to all the sounds. Your brain slowly turning to mush. I would recommend for that, turn your phone on grayscale. That's what I do. But let's say you aren't the person who sits at the slot machine. You say, yeah, I have long-term goals. I want to sit at the big table. Well, then here's your problem. You're too emotional. Your brain's limbic system and the amygdala are the one whose goal it is to see the flashing lights and the money flying at you because of how it makes you feel. You know that feeling when you've won something, or when you're right in an argument, when you click purchase, when you finally hit the vape or take the shot, jump out of a plane, when you achieve that satisfaction. The dopamine is released due to the emotions you feel as a result of the action. Your brain is having a conflict between the emotional pull towards instant gratification and delaying that gratification for greater rewards in the future. And so you might feel like you have long-term goals, but the truth is you keep losing the battle to your own emotions. And so I shouldn't say you're too emotional. I personally have enormous emotions. What I should say is you can learn how to manage those emotions. Know when to make decisions and when to give yourself a fucking break and just feel what you need to feel. So here's something simple for you to try. For example, when you want to buy something, just don't immediately react. Leave it in the cart. Just push it off for 24 hours. If you still want it tomorrow, then fine, go ahead. But most of the time, that urge disappears. I remember there was this holiday party for my place of work and everyone was talking about buying new outfits. Like all the girls were like, I'm gonna go buy a new outfit. I was like thinking to myself, I don't really have the money to buy something new, but I felt all this FOMO and like need for that gratification of like, I fit in, I'm not weird, I got something new, I treated myself. Like I wanted that instant gratification of all of that. I ended up sitting with the discomfort and going, okay, like, do I really need this? Is this really gonna make me happy? Is my bank account able to afford this? No. I went to the party in an outfit that I've worn before. On the record, I'm an outfit repeater and everyone liked my outfit. So you're teaching your brain, I don't have to obey every impulse. I am not a dog. I have free will. Layla Hermosi always says, fuck your mood, follow the plan. Don't make any decisions while you're emotional because your emotions are unreliable. You making that impulse buy or eating that shitty snack might feel good in the moment, but babe, it's gonna cost you in the long run. You're gonna be sitting on that pot for like 30 minutes going, why did I eat that cheese? And furthermore, while you pause on that impulse to buy the thing, to hit the vape, to get sloshed with your friends, when you sit in the discomfort of the emotion you are trying to avoid, try and identify that emotion. Where's it coming from? Are you sad, hurt, frustrated, bored? And why? Go deep. Were you neglected at a young age and hurt because of it? So you make impulse purchases to feel more control over yourself and feel comfort from those material things and try to avoid all the negative emotions? Or someone bullied you for your socioeconomic status and now you have to spend money on things to show your wealth? Or someone made fun of your weight and so you restrict your eating or you eat too much? Well, these are things we should be noticing at the very least. Notice that these feelings and therefore these behaviors currently have power and control over you. Your emotions are like a little Tasmanian devil running around, spending all your money, feeding you sugar and alcohol, and keeping you up at night. Take responsibility for your emotions, but don't act on them. And don't blame them on something else. It's your Tasmanian devil. It's your responsibility. These emotions are yours. All your long-term goals must be bigger than your past painful experiences. If you're watching this, it probably means that they aren't, and that's okay, but it means you must take responsibility for the emotions you carry and the past painful experiences you had and let them fuel your long-term goals. I was hospitalized at 18, I was arrested at 19, and I was a full-blown alcoholic addict at 20. Eventually, I said enough is enough. I started using those past painful experiences to fuel my long-term goals. I stopped using them as excuses to stay stuck. I took responsibility for my emotions and changed my behavior. Had I never changed, I wouldn't have the long-term goals, thinking, and discipline that I do now. However, had I changed my behavior without creating long-term goals, had I been complacent and done nothing afterwards, that is almost worse. But I feel like I'm talking to the person with long-term goals, and so it's about learning to use those past painful experiences to fuel your long-term goals. But if you don't have long-term goals, but you did change the behavior without a direction to go forward, that is very dangerous because it's much easier to slip back into familiarity than to move forward without a clear path. Like the path will never be completely clear ahead, but you at least need to move in that direction. Don't just stay still. It's easier to slip into the victim mindset and stay stuck, to slip into the instant gratification. But the recognition you give to the feelings and the pain, the minute you take responsibility, is the first step to then finding your long-term goals and building your future self and delaying gratification. You are going to have to suffer to become the person you want to be. I'm willing to suffer now, take the bet, make the gamble, so that my future self can cash out at the casino with more chips than I ever thought possible. And the gamble is that I could walk out with nothing. And that's fucking scary. I'll never be ready for it when it does happen. But I always think the worst that can happen is I go back to the person I left behind. And I've already lived those experiences, so they're not going to be as scary a second time, but I would rather not relive those. Personally, what's scarier than going back to the person you left behind is moving forward into this uncertainty, into this abyss, into this uncomfortable pause where you get no reward and where we work the hardest. And it's scary because we've never done it before. Like, you are building a person who's never even existed, but with a little delayed gratification. I don't think we will ever go back to the person we once were. It's just not an option. We will have more of a backbone to face the scarier, uncertain thing that's in front of us than to go back to the familiar. And that's the beauty of this world. work is that it just never stops. Resist the instant gratification. It'll only hurt you in the long run. Experience the painful emotions now so your future self will benefit. We must reprogram our brains. And so how do we do this? Well, there's some options. You could go to therapy. You could get diagnosed and prescribed medication. You could try to find some psychological technology to do it for you, or you could just raw dog it, just DIY. Like, I understand some people need these methods, but if you are in the camp of, I've never actually been diagnosed with ADHD, but I think I have it, or I struggle with anxiety and impulse decision making, just try these things first. Read a book instead of scrolling, go for a walk instead of online shopping, turn off your phone, don't go out to the bars, throw your vape away, don't watch porn, use your imagination. Take yourself out on a date. Don't binge watch a show, learn a new skill, or find a hobby. Don't quit that exciting thing you started just because it got boring. Stop avoiding that hard conversation with that person. Stop people pleasing. Stop being a pushover and saying yes to everything you can't handle. Stop going to therapy without ever changing your behavior. Stop thinking your meds will just fix you. It's temporary until you do the work. Stop gossiping and talking shit on other people. And you might be thinking, Gab, I'm not ready. It's easier said than done. Well, Chris Williamson said, there is no perfect condition in which you will be ready to start something, that starting something is what makes you ready. Starting is the perfect condition. Get bored. Boredom is where long-term desire is born. Your true self and your deepest desires sit in the silent, dark corner thoughts you spend every moment trying to avoid. Many of us confuse understanding our struggles with surrendering to them. Your issues, your struggles, the chips you were dealt at birth are no longer excuses. Stop sitting there with your thumb up your ass going, oh, they started with more chips than me. That's not fair. I think I have ADHD, so I can't focus like everyone else. I can't ever be bored. I have anxiety, so I can't handle that. I spilled again. Fuck. Alex Hormozy says, you're sitting on a winning lottery ticket and choosing not to scratch it. You are surrendering to your struggles. You can't also walk into a casino, buy some chips, and then never sit down and play a game. Might as well just get the hell out of the casino, complaining you still have the same amount, that they're not growing. Well, you didn't do anything. Oh, I started this business because I really liked this idea, but then it got kind of boring and like too hard. Yeah, I like my job, it pays well, but it's not like what I really want to do. Yeah, I go to the gym every once in a while, but I'm still kind of like skinny fat, like just fluffy. You are surrendering to your struggles. Or you take the small amount of chips you do have and blow them on the slot machines. Oh, I bought this thing because I had a hard week, but I deserve it. I'll just scroll for a little bit. 4 hours later. I started the 1 episode and finished the whole series by 3 a.m. You are surrendering to your struggles. Either leave the fucking casino or go sit down at the big table and earn some shit. Poker games last for hours. Slot machines are this quick. Your decisions in poker matter more than just yanking on a lever. And folding doesn't count. You know, you can say you're playing with the big wigs and still be folding and walking out no richer or poorer than you arrived and say you're doing the work. It doesn't, you know, you have to gamble responsibly. You know, it's a metaphor. You get it. If you don't have a backbone, you fold. Don't fold. Even if the hand is like, do what you can with the hand that you're dealt. Don't just give up. Struggle explains difficulty. It does not excuse stagnation. Because the people with the best lives, the people we look up to, the heroes in every story, aren't the ones who enjoy the moment the most. They're the ones who invest it wisely. They're the ones who struggled and suffered to get the life that we admire. That's the thing. No one ever looks at like the struggle. They always look at the aftermath of, oh, good job. Okay, well, yeah, you have no idea what it took to get there. This year, don't live every day like it's your last. Live every day trying to make your life last longer. Train and sustain. Like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. TLDR, tomorrow remembers what today forgot. Mic drop.